Hello there. I've just completed another session with a new client in my Should I Stay or Should I Go program. Karen contacted me because she's been struggling in her relationship. She's remarried 3 years ago. They're in their mid-60s, and they've been lifelong friends. However, the relationship has become very challenging. By this time in life, our personality patterns are really, really strong. And if we're not aware of what they are, they can really sabotage us. And so she came with the decision of, is it easier to live on my own? Was this a mistake? Or can we understand this and get along? In the Stay or Go program, the first thing I attempt to do is to re-engage the partner, regenerate and rejuvenate the relationship so that the couple can connect. And it starts with taking the personality quiz that's on my website, which is a very in-depth personality assessment and gives you a lot of information on the 9 different personalities. So she took the quiz and she called me, and she had 2 pretty high scores. One was a 2 supporter high score, with the second one being a 1 perfecter. So first of all, we did a clarifying session on which was her dominant personality, because you can only be one. You only have the one that, although you have traits of all the 9 different Enneagram personalities, your focus and how you act and react, your belief system, your fundamental core emotional needs are 1 personality. So we discovered that she is a 2 supporter, which means she believes in loving and nurturing and caring for other people. She puts other people before herself. She doesn't need a lot of attention, but she needs to be appreciated, and she needs a connection. She needs to be respected. And so her second personality, the 1 perfecter, is what's called a wing. And you maybe can't see this, but so the personality on either side of your home type is called the wing, and they influence your personality. So she has some influences of a little more structuredness of the 1 perfecter, and maybe having some rules around relationships and how they should go, etc. We sort of figured out by how she described her husband that he is an 8 asserter personality. So very direct, say it like it is, my way or the highway, has a great strong will, is used to control and dominance, because that's what's worked in his life, is how to do that. And they can be very successful on that. If the patterns are unrecognizable and they're unaware of the patterns, both of them, then their patterns can sabotage them. And so the patterns of sabotaging for the 2 supporter could be that they become too emotional, too needy, too unhappy with the amount of attention they're getting. For the 8 asserter personality, their patterns can be dominance and control and being angry if they're challenged at all. So in this case, there was a lot of conflict and stress, and Karen, the 2 supporter, tried 2 different ways of dealing with that, either withdrawing and becoming emotional and crying, or standing up and having a standout argument. And neither one of those really worked well, because if you are in an argument with an 8 asserter that is undeveloped, you are not going to win. They are going to win. And so she felt backed into a corner. What do I do? I don't want to live in a stressful situation. Maybe I'm better on my own. And so in our very first session, I gave her some information on their couple dynamics. What's going on? Why? These patterns are unconscious. They're developed in childhood. They're survival techniques. And so I gave her a lot of this information. And she checked in with me and said, I said, how's it going? And she said, well, they'd had a big argument. And so instead of reacting the way they normally do, and that is the way they communicate, is by argument, instead of reacting the way she normally does, she said, you know what? This is getting too heated for me. I'm just going to walk away for now. And so she walked away, and she came back to him when she was calmer and less emotional, because 8s will feel, if you pull the emotional card, that you're not playing fair. So she came back to him and she said, I'd like you to know how I'm feeling. She said, I felt very unsafe. I didn't know whether you were going to hit me or hurt me. And he was floored, like, how stupid is that? I would never do that. Why would you think I would do that? And 8s are often aware. They generally have this big body presence, and they also, you know, they can be angry and forceful, which is natural to them. But other people in their presence can feel overwhelmed and unsafe. So by sharing that, even though at the time he said, well, that's ridiculous, he went away and he thought about that. And, you know, what followed with that was he came a couple days later. He needed her help on a project. And she said he was very different. He was very patient with her, explaining things. And that's not usually the way their projects go together. And she's been more appreciative with him, telling him things that she likes about him. And so I've given her some more coaching tips, and she's now at the point where she's going to take the Get Loved Online Relationship Program, which is a downloadable program. And it's part of the package that I give, that they can each have their personality program. This Get Loved program can be purchased individually as well. And she's excited to learn more about herself. And what's cool about the Enneagram personalities is that there is a path of development. It shows you what's not working, why, and what behaviors specifically to replace the patterns that have been ingrained. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. And so it's very exciting. Already things have shifted, and they've shifted because she has a different perspective. It's not as personal, the behaviors that are happening, and she's also taking responsibility for her own patterns and how she normally reacts. So it's very, very cool. They're on their way, or she is. She's already feeling a lot more positive, and with a lot more tools. It's like having an operator's manual for each other. So when you press this button, you're going to get this reaction, or when you see them stressed, you can respond this way. So what I'd like to share with you is we can struggle for a long, long time in our relationships. I did 35 years, struggled, felt chronically unhappy, and finally gave up. And after finding the Enneagram personalities and seeing our couple dynamics and the specifics of that, I could see my part and his part as well. So I really recommend, if you're struggling, why? There really are answers. People believe that relationships are mysterious. There is no easy way to figure them out. There is. There are personality patterns, and you can start to manage your patterns better that are sabotaging you, and you can start re-engaging your partner as well. The investment of coaching is well worth it. I'm going to put a link up underneath this posting. My name is Eileen Head. I'm a personality and relationship expert. And if you have a question, give me a call. I have a free clarity question with what's going on in your relationship as well. Thanks for joining me today.